TIFU by doing Molly with my husband 45 minutes before his grandfather that we live with died. Last night my husband and I wanted a special evening, so we took some Molly. We live with my husband's grandparents so that we can care for them in their old age. Grandpa had just been taken to hospice the day before, but we thought he still had a few weeks. Well, about 45 minutes after taking huge doses, we get the call that he has passed and that my husband's entire family is on their way over to the house to console Grandma. We are so fucked up when they arrive, and all we can do is sit there, drink some water, and try to keep our shit together. We made it through the terrible experience and can only laugh about it this morning. We are thankful for no one noticing how fucked up we were, and even more thankful he passed and his suffering is over. He had been sick for a very, very long time. TLD, or we took Molly. Our grandfather that we live with died like immediately after. Then the whole family came over to mourn while we are fucked up. Op. Thankfully no one noticed we were fucked up also. Op. GIF. Oh, we're so sorry for your loss. Why is Swedish House Mafia playing? Could have been worse. At least you hadn't just dropped acid. I've taken Molly before, and if they didn't actually figure out something was off with you too, then you guys have some serious self-control skills. Probably the most bottomless glass of water ever. Sorry for your loss. Get the feeling this could be like Wolf of Wall Street, where ye think ye got away with it, but really you were climbing the walls and licking the windows. As someone who used to take care of an elderly relative with his wife, I'm sorry for your loss. But I'm in agreement that at least he's not hurting and possibly confused anymore. That said, I hate when I take something, and then an hour or so later I have some responsibility thrust upon me that I'm in no condition to deal with. There was an incident decades ago where I took mushrooms and had to drive somewhere a few hours afterwards. Long story. And looking back, I should have said, no, don't trip and drive, kids, you might not be as lucky as I was. But more recently, I took a 25 milligrams edible with my better half. And maybe an hour later she comes and gets me because the washing machine is dumping water in the floor. I had to figure out how to get it to stop, how to clean the water up, and how to drain the washer. All while struggling to convince myself that the floor wasn't actually moving and that I did indeed still have legs. However, once I had the mess cleaned up, I decided to take the washer apart to fix it. And while the more reasonable among you reading this may be horrified at the idea, due to my particular mental deficiencies, I find myself in possession of godlike mechanical abilities when I'm stoned off my ass. And some old Whirlpool direct drive washer to me is like a Duplo set for kindergarten children when I'm in that condition. We are thankful for no one noticing how fucked up we were. They did. There is no way you could hide a strong MDMA trip. Your whole face changes shape, lol. If you took huge doses, then someone noticed you were fucked up. There's no way they didn't. They just had enough grace to not call you out. You put some good music on after everyone left? When I was in college, I played around with LSD for a little while. One weekend there was an absolutely killer storm system rolling across our state. Tropical storm force winds on the lake. I wanted to experience it, so I headed up to my parents' lake house, took half a tab, and settled in for the ride. At some point in the night, Dad's boat broke loose from the dock. I remember watching it silhouetted by lightning strikes, and noticing that it had started drifting. I tore out of the house, ran down the dock, dove in, and started swimming out after the boat. I climbed up the stern, fired it up, and started easing it back toward the dock, and then realized I had no idea how I was going to manage to tie it up. Then out of nowhere, on the dock, is my father. He'd driven up to make sure I was okay, which I decidedly was not. I was high enough that I'd jumped into the lake to chase down a boat in the middle of a storm. To this day I don't think he believes I didn't take it out for a joyride. My friend and I did this when we weren't kids. But we'd not Molly. We were I think 14 to 15 and staying at my dad's house while he was out. She gets a call and says that her grandmother died and her parents are dropping off her little sister, 2 years younger than us. So her parents can figure everything out. Her sister gets dropped off and my friend and I cannot stop giggling. We both just kept laughing and snacking, and her little sister was so confused. We told her a few years later and laughed about it. Sorry, but what is Molly? Isn't it a name? I'm from Russia. Would it be out of line if perhaps I suggest everyone knew but decided not to say something because it would be pointless? Sounds like the beginning of the HBO series 6 Feet Under. Sorry for your loss. But sometimes indeed a dead is better than suffering. But don't think they have noticed, haha. As someone mentioned already, eyes dead as black are a big giveaway. Did you notice how fucked up they were all night? God, don't even want to say anything, lol. My wife and I smoke weed on weekends. Hardcore, I know. But this is literally always on the back of my mind. I always think, what if all of a sudden some event happens that we absolutely have to be at, and we show up stoned as fuck? Till people can still get Molly. It always seems to be laced meth these days. Me and my GF use MDMA together if we need to have a deep and difficult conversation. I wonder if it was a fortuitous time to have taken it, really, as being able to laugh about it the day after sounds way better than being grief-struck.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.